Hello everyone and welcome back to the Helgeek Arena, and today we are back with yet another very interesting problem on lead code, which is split array largest sum. So let's take a look at this problem. So in this problem you have been given an array of numbers which are all non-negative, and also along with it you have been given an integer m, and what you need to do over here is that to split this array into m non-continuous sub-arrays, right? In such a way that the split should be in such a way that the maximum sum among all those sub-arrays should be minimized as minimum as possible. So over here, if you see in this example, what they have done is that your array was 7 2 5 10 8, and you needed to divide it into two possible sub arrays. So there could be multiple ways into which you can divide it, like you can keep 7 in one sub array and 2 5 10 8 in other sub array. Then you can keep 7 and 2 in one sub array and 5 10 8 in the other sub array. But the possible way in which we get the best possible split, means that the maximum subarray sum is minimized, was in when we divide into two subarrays, such that one subarray has 7 to 5 and the other subarray has 10 and 8, right? So in this case, 7 to 5, the sum would be 7 plus 2 9, 9 plus 5 14, and 10 plus 8 is 18. So maximum subarray was sum was 18. So this was our would be our output. So now let's try to understand it a little better using a better example. So let's say, again we take the example of the same subarray, that is 7 2 5 10 and 8, and let's say we want to divide it into three subarrays. Now what could be our possibilities? Now one possibility could be that I keep 7 in one subarray, 2 5 in another subarray, and 10 and 8 in the third subarray, right? Now another possibility could be I keep 7 and 2 in one subarray, 5 in one subarray, and 10 and 8 in the third subarray. Now another possibility could be that I keep 7 and 2 in one subarray, 5 and 10 in another subarray, and 8 in the last subarray, right? So let's denote all these three by let's say solution 1, solution 2, and solution 3. Let's say we have these three possible solution, and also I mean, these are not the only three possible solution. There could be many more solutions into it. So let's take example of these three solutions first. So let's see which of these three solution is better. So in each of them we are going to have three subarrays. Let's denote them by S1, S2, and S3. So in the first solution, which is, let's say, the one we are putting up in blue. So in the first solution we have just 7 in the subarray 1, so I'll keep 7 over here. Then in the second subarray we have 2 and 5, so 2 plus 5 is 7, so I'll keep 7 over here as the subarray sum. And S3, which is the third subarray, we have 10 plus 8 18, right? So maximum subarray sum over here is maximum out of 7 7 and 18, which is 18, right? In the solution 2, we again take the three subarray sum. So solution 2 is basically the green one. So 7 plus 2 is 9. Then second subarray just has 5, and the third subarray has 10 plus 8, which is 18. So I'll keep 18 over here, and then the maximum out of these three is again 18, right? Now for the third solution, we have 7 plus 2 in the first subarray. Then we have basically 5 plus 10 in the second array, which is 15, and 8 in the third subarray. So basically, if you see over here, the maximum out of these three is 15, right? And what was our overall solution of the problem? That was, what is the minimum out of all these maximum subarrays? So minimum is 15. So our solution, final solution for this answer would be 15. So broadly speaking, there are three basic steps over here. First, we found out what are the different possible solutions using which we can divide the given array into m subarrays. Second thing is that we find the maximum sum of among all those subarrays, and the third step is that we find the minimum of all these maximums. So let's see how we can generalize this concept. So this is a generic formula which we can opt for finding this. So first what I do is that I find the different solutions. That is, let's say this is solution 1, this is solution 2, this is solution 3, and so on. Let's say this is the kth solution. These are the k possible solutions, right? So over here, let's say S11 would denote subarray 1 from solution 1, and similarly S32 would denote subarray 2 from solution 3. So if we see over here, first what we are doing is that we find all the solutions that are possible. Next step is to find the maximum of the subarrays from each of these solutions, right? And the third step is to find the minimum out of all these maximums. This will give us the correct answer. So let's try to see how we can find these different solutions. So starting from a very basic thing, let's say, the m that has been given to you is 1. What does m is equal to 1 means? So it means that you don't need to divide it into subarrays. Whatever original array of numbers that has been given to you, that is fine, and that is the only possible solution. So if only you don't need to divide it into further subarrays, the only possible solution is just finding the sum of all these numbers over there. So that's why I am representing for m is equal to 1 as sigma array of array of numbers. So moving on further, when m is equal to 2, now m is equal to 2 means you need to divide the given array into two subarrays. So what are the possibilities? Either you can put a splitter over here, or you can put a splitter over here, or you can put a splitter over here, or you can put up a splitter over here. You can divide it into two, bifurcate it into two subarrays. So for doing this, one possible easy solution is to just run a for loop for putting up these splitters, and find the summation of both the parts. Suppose you are putting up your splitter over here, so you are going to find the sum of 7 and 2, and find the sum of 5, 10 and 8. So let's denote them by m1 and m2, and then you keep on storing your final answer by finding the minimum of the current minimum, and the minimum of the and the maximum of the whatever subarray sums that you have received. So all the solutions that we are going to see over here will be like some sort of reinventions of this particular formula only. So even if you see this particular thing over here also, you are seeing minimum of maximums over here as well. So everywhere we are going to find the minimum of maximums subarrays. So this is how you can find it for m is equal to 2. Let's move on. For m is equal to 3, now what we have to do is to put two splitters. So we have already seen the m is equal to 3 case, wherein you can, let's say, put up one splitter over here, one splitter over here. In this way we have two subarrays, 7, 2 and 5, and 10 and 8. So we have three subarrays. Then you can further put up, let's say, splitter over here and here. Then we are going to have 7 and 2, 5 and 10 and 8. So what is the possible easiest way to put up two splitters? To run two for loops. So we can run up these two for loops, find the individual subarray sums over here, and then find the minimum out of the maximums of the subarray sum by maintaining your minimum answer in a particular variable. So this is an easy way in which you can find subarray sum of when m is equal to 1, 2 and 3. But what if m is even larger? M could be, let's say, according to the given problem statement, m could be as large as 50. Now for finding answer for 50, you would need to run 49 for loops, which is pretty much not possible. So other way around in which we can think about this problem is in a recursive way. Now let's try to understand how we can solve this problem recursively. Now to be able to solve any problem recursively, what we should be able to do is to divide it into smaller sub problems. Now in this case, how we are going to divide it into sub problems is that first let's say we have to find the divide this entire array into m sub arrays. Then what we will do is that we will first try to find the first possible sub array, what are the different first possible sub arrays, and then leverage the rest of our array to be divided into rest of the m minus 1 sub arrays. So for example, let's say we choose this point to be our splitter. That is, we say that our first sub array contains just 7, and for rest of our sub array, that is 2, 5, 10, 8, we will call that function recursively to divide it into m minus 1 subarray. In this way we are going to get a optimal substructure. So this is how we can represent our entire problem, that is find the m splits from 0 to n minus 1 indexes. And how we can find a solution of it is using the smaller sub problems. Now where all can we put the first splits? Now first subarray can be from 0th index to 0th index, which is this one. So we first try to use only 7 over here, so that is S00, and then we call recursively the same function from index 1 to n minus 1 with and call it with m minus 1 subarray division, because we have already made one split. Now we want to make m minus 1 more splits. Similarly, other possibility would be that instead of putting a split over here, the first split itself can be put over here. That is, both 7 and 2 can be the part of first subarray. That is, we find subarray sum of 0 and 1, and we call the function recursively starting from index 2 and find it for m minus 1, and similarly go so on and so forth. And out of all these subarray maximum sums, we find the minimum, and this minimum would be our final solution. Now this is how the recursion tree would look like for our problem. So in this case, what we are going to do is to start off with the 0th index, and what we need to find is the m splits, that is m subarrays. So to find the solution of this problem, we are going to divide it into several sub problems. How we are going to divide it is like try to find the first split. If we are putting the first split, that is our first subarray just contains the first particular value in the array, then we are going to put S00 over here, and try to leverage our rest of the problem into another recursive call to our function starting from first index to n minus 1th index. And what we need to find over here now is m minus 1 more splits, that is m minus 1 more subarrays. And similarly, we can choose to put the first split after the first index or the second index, or so on and so forth. And similarly, we'll keep on leveraging it rest of our problems to a recursive call. And at each of these conjunction points, the operator that we are going to put is definitely the min operator. So that is our reduce operation over here. That is, first we will find the maximum of subarrays that are there for different solution, and then again we are going to find the minimum of all those maximums, and that will be our final answers. And similarly, for after we have to find the solution for m minus 1, we are going to further divide it into sub problems for m minus 2, right, and so on and so forth. So one interesting thing that we can see over here is when we are trying to find a solution for m minus 1 starting from index 1, then we come across a branch which is to find the solution for 3 comma n minus 1 comma m minus 2. And similarly, when we are trying to find the solution of 2 comma m minus 1, we come across a same branch, right? So if we are doing this recursively, what we are doing is basically recalculating a lot of things, which kind of increases our time complexity. So what we can do over here is basically memoize our results using dynamic programming. So there are two things that are necessary for any problem to have dynamic programming or memoization. One is optimal substructure and overlapping subproblems. Now in our case, if we see, both of them are there. We are able to divide our problem into smaller subproblems also, and we have overlapping subproblems also, right? So both the things are there. So what we can do is we can memoize these results. So in the solution that we are just going to see, we will be using two states of memoization. One is the starting index, and the other one is number of subarrays, right? So these will be the two states of memoization. Now let's go through the solution. So this is an accepted solution on LeetCode for this problem. So as I mentioned, what we are going to do is we are going to do a recursion with memoization. So this is the array which we'll be using for memoization, and this is our primary recursive function where we are doing memoization. So here are, you know, some of the base cases over there. I think they are pretty much self-explanatory. You can, you know, go through them. Now comes our main set of problem. What we'll try to do over here is, what we are trying to do over here is basically, you know, trying to divide it into sub problems. That is, we iterate across index plus 1 till you know, the entire length of the array, and we try to put up the splits at each of those points. And after putting up the splits, we again try to do the our reduce operation, that is min of all the maxes, that is min of all the maxes with that sub array plus, you know, whatever sub arrays that we are going to get with the further function calls that we are doing over here. And once we have calculated the minimum or the reduce operation of minimum for all these iterations, what we are going to do is to, you know, store this into our memoization table. Now this way we can find our final solution. And if we see the time complexity of this is basically, you know, what we are doing over here, our memoization state over here has two states, that is index. Now index is the total number of could be as high as total number of elements that we have in the array, multiplied by you know, number of arrays that we can have, that is m. So n multiplied by m multiplied by, you know, we are doing a one loop also inside, so it is n square into m. So this is our you know, solution. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys liked it. There are many more coming through, and for finding the solution of this problem, you can go through the description of this problem. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Bye bye.